Hello everyone, and welcome to the Animation Therapist channel. I'm glad you're there watching, and I will like you to watch this video to the end, because I have lots of beneficial information to share in this video. Thank you. In the last video, we started conversations around the fear of failure. We discussed what the fear of failure is and the possible causes extensively. In this video, we will be discussing in detail healthy and practical strategies that can help us challenge and overcome the fear of failure. The fear of failure is clinically known as atychiphobia. It is an intense fear of failure. It may cause you to put off or avoid any activity or scenario that has the potential for an unsuccessful outcome. Someone with this condition may be scared to try new things, take risks or embrace growth for fear of failure. In the previous video, we talked about what the fear of failure is all about and the possible causes. I will be sharing 7 tips to help manage the fear of failure. Tip number 1. Acceptance. Working with clients as a therapist over the years. One thing that is worthy of note with people with the fear of failure is their reaction or perspective about the fear they're experiencing. They have this cognitive distortion that having the fear of failure is something that is inappropriate. They believe that the fact that they experience that distressing emotion automatically mean they are likely to fail. They pay more attention to the emotion of fear rather than paying more attention to their behavioral response to the fear of failure. If you are to overcome the fear of failure, you must interpret the fear as a natural and normal emotional response. It's okay to experience some fear about possibility of a failed outcome. You have to come to terms with that. It's not peculiar to you as an individual. Almost everyone experiences the same. The difference is how they choose to respond to it. Choose to accept the fear of failure as our normal emotional response. But decide not to allow it to stop you from doing what you need to do to make progress in life. Tip number 2. Avoid fueling the fear of failure. Our response to the fear of failure could either fuel the fear or reduce the severity and the frequency of the fear. If you follow up on the fear of failure by procrastination, avoidance of risk, or avoiding trying out new things, and avoiding taking bold steps, you are indirectly reinforcing and fueling the fear of failure. The implication of this is that it becomes more difficult for you to take healthy actions subsequently. That means that the fear of failure becomes stronger subsequently and vice versa. There is this simple coping strategies that I recommend in therapy. It is called the opposite actions. When you're faced with the fear of failure, there is an impulsive way you respond, such as procrastination, avoidance, self-defeating thought, etc. Going forward, identify your normal and regular reaction to the fear of failure. If possible, pay attention to your previous experience and list out the unhealthy or maladaptive response to fear of failure. After which you do the exact opposite. Take, for example, one of your cognitive maladaptive response could be that your mind is flooded with the thought of what will happen if you fail. The opposite action will be that you deliberately think about what will happen if you are successful about the exact thing you're faced with or afraid of. Do the same for all of your maladaptive response to the fear of failure. Remain consistent with the opposite action until it becomes habitual. It's normal to experience difficulties executing this strategy in the first few weeks, but once you are able to stay consistent for a few weeks, after a while it becomes habitual and it becomes your autonomous way of responding to the fear of failure. Tip number 3. Alter your perspective on failure. Instead of seeing it as something to be avoided, try to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. When you experience failure, try to reflect on what you learned and how you can improve. You can also try to reframe your thinking by focusing on what went well, rather than what went wrong. These strategies can help you to approach failure in a more positive way, and to learn from it rather than being discouraged by it. When you change your perspective on failure, you're essentially changing the way you think about it. Instead of seeing failure as something to be afraid of, you're seeing it as a normal part of life and as an opportunity for growth. This can help to reduce the fear of failure by reducing the negative emotions associated with it. It can also help you to develop a growth mindset, where you see failure as a way to learn and improve. In other words, You're shifting your focus from the outcome to the process. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and skills can be developed through effort and practice. This is in contrast to a fixed mindset, where people believe that their abilities and skills are static and cannot be changed. By adopting a growth mindset, you're allowing yourself to learn and grow from your failures, rather than being limited by them. You're also opening yourself up to new possibilities and opportunities. Tip number 4. Separate your self-worth from your performance. When you separate your self-worth from your performance and achievement, you're essentially decoupling your sense of self from the outcome of your actions. This can be helpful in overcoming the fear of failure, because it allows you to view your mistakes and failures as separate from who you are as a person. It also allows you to see yourself as a capable and competent individual, even if you don't always succeed. This can help to build your confidence and make you more resilient to failure. One way to start separating your self-worth from your performance and achievement is to focus on your intrinsic values. Intrinsic values are the things that matter to you deep down, like kindness, generosity, honesty, or compassion. By focusing on your intrinsic values, you're focusing on who you are as a person, rather than on your performance or achievements. Tip number 5. Be compassionate with yourself. Self-compassion is a powerful tool for overcoming the fear of failure, and the reason is because it allows you to be kind to yourself in the face of failure. When you have self-compassion, you're able to recognize that everyone makes mistakes and that failure is a part of life. You can also recognize that your worth isn't tied to your achievements or success. Instead, you can see yourself as a person who is capable of learning and growing, even when things don't go according to plan. Self-compassion has 3 main components. The first is self-kindness. The second is common humanity. While the third component is mindfulness. Self-kindness is about treating yourself with care and understanding, like you would to a friend or a family member you love and care about. Common humanity is about recognizing that we're all human and we all experience suffering and difficulty. It is a common denominator for all human. The third, which is mindfulness, is about being aware of your thoughts and feelings without judgment. By practicing all 3 components of self-compassion, you can develop a stronger sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on external factors like achievement or success. Tip number 6. Focus on progress rather than perfection. This is a key part of overcoming the fear of failure, because it allows you to learn from your mistakes and grow as a person. When you focus on perfection, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and failure. It's impossible to be perfect all the time, so you're setting yourself up for a lot of negative emotions when you try to be perfect. Instead, it's more productive and healthier to focus on the progress you're making, no matter how small it may seem. To help you shift your focus from perfection to progress, you can try using SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When you set SMART goals, you're able to break down your larger goals into smaller, more achievable steps. This makes it easier to measure your progress and see the progress you're making. Tip number 7, which will be the final tip I will be sharing in this video, is the need to talk to someone that is able to help. Talking to someone about your fear of failure can be really beneficial. This person could be a trusted friend, family member, or a mental health professional. Talking to someone else can help you to get an outside perspective on your fear, and it can also help you to feel less alone. It's also important to find someone who is a good listener and who won't judge you or try to fix your problem for you. I have had clients say to me in therapy most times, that talking about their fears brought some form of relief and has helped them to see things from a healthier perspective. It is important you find someone who can provide you with validation and support when you talk to them about your fear of failure. Validation means recognizing and acknowledging your feelings. Support means providing encouragement and understanding. It's not about giving advice or telling you what to do. Having a supportive listener can help you to feel heard and understood, which can make it easier to work through your fear. Check the description of this video if you will like to speak with a therapist. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe to this channel if you've not done so. Like, share and comment on all our videos to help us reach more people. Also turn on the notification so as to get immediate update each time we drop a new video. Cheers.